believe it or not, there have been certain spaces that if you're not married, you don't get to sit there. And I find that very interesting sometimes. But it's the way that the community has been set up. When there's certain discussions that are happening, you don't necessarily get invited to those. And your parents are probably asking this question because they're thinking about this community respect that comes with marriage. Welcome back to Between Two Worlds with Dr. Phoebe, the podcast where we translate the things immigrant families say and the things that they actually mean. And before you go any further with your listening, I have a request for you. I would love to get some feedback on our episodes so far. So please let me know what you think. I want to hear what is working for you, what isn't. Is there a topic that you feel we should talk about that we haven't yet? Or maybe one that you're like, Phoebe, we shouldn't go here yet because we're not ready. I'll probably go there, but it's okay. So please send me an email at consult@phebebrakolmft.com. That's consult, CONSULT at phebebrakolmft.com. At the same time, I am on Instagram. So you can slide in my DMs respectfully on Instagram at Dr. Phebe Brako. Now remember, don't add that O because my parents decided to put the O at the end of my name. Okay. So this is our community's podcast. So I want to hear from you. I want your voices to also be heard. And maybe if you have a question, at some point we could have a listener letter kind of section and we could talk about some of these things, right? And also while you're at it, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, the follow button, the review button, all of the things. We want to get this podcast to everyone who needs to hear these really powerful conversations. Oh, and before I forget, I am your host, Dr. Phebe Brako, therapist, immigrant, daughter, and someone who has personally survived approximately about 3,842 aunties asking about my relationship status. Today's episode is from the parents' perspective, though, and the title will sound familiar to many of you. It's called, Where is Your Husband? Where is your husband? Where is your honey? Right? Now, before anyone panics, this episode is not about shaming immigrant parents, okay? It's really about understanding what is underneath that question. Because when many immigrant parents ask, where is your husband? Or where is your wife? What they're really asking is something much deeper. Let's talk about it. Every immigrant child knows this moment. You go to a wedding. You go to a funeral. I mean, especially the weddings. The weddings are usually where this comes up. I remember reading a book recently called Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? Great book. And that was what kind of inspired this episode too, right? So you go to a wedding or maybe a funeral. There's a graduation, a party, somebody's birthday party, even the kids' parties with the bouncy houses and everything, right? And honestly, just you existing in public. And an auntie that you have never met in your life approaches you like an immigration officer for your love life. And the first question is, sweetheart, so where's your husband? There's no hello. There's no how are you? There's no how's it going? It's straight to marital status interrogation. And if you say you're not married yet, right? Don't be in your late 20s, 30s. Even at 30s, you're kind of like hitting it. You know what I'm saying? And like, once you say you're not married yet, the follow-up questions, they escalate immediately. There's no, let me talk to you about what else is going on in your life. It's, why? Are you being too picky? You went to too much school. You like school too much. You have too many degrees. You're hearing questions like, or you're hearing statements like, maybe your standards are too high. Time is passing. It's time that you started talking about, moving forward with your life and things like that. And you're probably standing there like, how did I get here? What is going on over here? So suddenly you came out of hiding to come and eat your jollof rice, and now you're defending your entire life plan at this stage. So, what do our parents actually mean? What is this whole marriage thing about? Some of us are from cultures that really emphasize marriage and relationships in this way, marriage especially. And I want us to maybe look at, or maybe I want to take this opportunity to translate this question from our parents' generation. When it comes to marriage, marriage equals stability for many of our cultures, especially those of us from West Africa, from Africa in general. I'm going to speak for my people. And I know that this is also going to be relatable to a lot of people from other cultures as well. So, for many of our immigrant parents, marriage has historically meant survival. It has meant shared financial responsibility. It has meant protection. It has also meant community respect because, believe it or not, there have been certain spaces that if you're not married, you don't get to sit there. And I find that very interesting sometimes. But it's the way that the community has been set up. When there's certain discussions that are happening, you don't necessarily get invited to those. And your parents are probably asking this question because they're thinking about this community respect that comes with marriage. There's also this part around raising children within a certain structure. So when your parents are asking about a husband or a wife, they're not just talking about romance, right? They're not just talking about, ooh, what's your love life looking like? Are you taking walks on the sunset, during sunset on the beach and things like that? It's not the things that we see in the movies. What your parents are asking is, are you going to be okay in this world? Because of what marriage represents for them. Another thing, too, is that time feels different across generations. So our parents, my parents, your parents, they most likely married younger, sometimes like really, really, really young. And that means that when they see you at 30 or 35 and you're single, their internal alarm clock starts to go off. Not because they think that you're failing or that there's something wrong with you, but it's because their cultural timeline is different. They lived according to a script that said, you go to school, you get your education. After you get your education, you marry. After you marry, you have kids. After kids, there's stability, right? They have this timeline in their minds. So at the same time, or I should say, meanwhile, our generation or the younger generation, this generation, our script looks very, very different. It looks more like education, career, therapy, okay? Travel, because, we like to get flued out. We just like to hop on a plane left and right. I just hopped off a plane a couple days ago and I'm about to hop on a plane later today. It looks like healing. And then maybe marriage, maybe, right? There's different timelines. And at the same time, the thread that runs between the two is that there's the same desire for security. Another thing behind that question of where is your husband is that community pressure is real, okay? So many of our immigrant parents are also navigating community expectations, right? I'll never forget years ago, some of my friends might know this, but years ago, before I came to the US, I decided to go audition for a music, song competition, whatever. And it was called Stars of the Future. If you know, you know. And I remember not telling my parents I was going to do this. My mom was at home, and I remember saying to her, "Oh, I'm going to go audition for Stars of the Future." And I was literally walking out of the gate. And then she sees me at the gate. She's like, "Don't go out there and embarrass me. People know me." And I remember just thinking about that and just laughing internally. But my mom was always really big on what are people going to say, right? Because community has expectations. And you're going out here and you're representing me, so you better not go and embarrass me. let's just say I didn't make it too far ish, kind of sort of, but I was also moving to the US like right after then too. So it just the timing was, let's just leave it there. Okay, let's leave it there. We don't need to talk about my coulda woulda been music career. Okay, so sometimes the question of where's your husband is not even coming from them. It's coming from extended family. It's coming from church members, the pastors, the deacons. When they go to church and they're asking, oh, any prayer requests? And then your mom's hand is up. Please, I've been praying for my daughter. She needs a husband, you know. Sometimes the questions are not even coming from that. They're coming from community gossip networks. Because believe it or not, the parents have their group chats too. They have their little group chats going too. And don't let one of them have a child who gets married or has something going on, and then they put the picture, and then all of a sudden, oh, Auntie Nelly, so what's up with your daughter? Or what's up with your son, right? And sadly, our parents sometimes pass that pressure down unintentionally. It becomes less about your happiness and more about their social reputation, how people see them, how their friends see them, how their classmates see them. My flabbers were gassed when I found out about all these like group chats my parents are in from like their high school, friends, and they have like little high school groups and whatever on WhatsApp. I was like, we don't have anything to do with your time or something. But I mean, good for them. But here's the thing: underneath all of that, parents just want to know that their child will not face life alone. Yeah. So let's talk about the emotional core of this. Here's the part that is rarely spoken out loud. A lot of our immigrant parents equate marriage with protection, especially for their daughters. They've seen what life looks like without support. They've seen how society treats women. They've seen how women struggle alone. So when they're asking, where is your husband? Sometimes what they're really asking is, who is going to stand beside you? Who will care for you? Who is going to build a family with you? Who will be there for you and with you when I am no longer here? Who is going to celebrate those beautiful moments with you? And the children, they hear this differently. What they're hearing from this question of where's your husband is, you're incomplete, your life hasn't started, your accomplishments don't count. So we have two very different interpretations. And here's the beautiful thing. Both of these interpretations are rooted in love, but we're just speaking different emotional languages. So here's this week's Bridge the Gap tip. I want you to replace this pressure with curiosity. What do I mean by that? If you are a parent and you're listening, instead of asking, where's your husband? You can try asking a question like, are you happy with your life right now? Now, I know that happiness, it can be very fleeting, and we all have different definitions of happiness. And even as I'm saying the question out loud, I'm just wondering to myself what it's like for an immigrant parent of a different generation to even ask about their child's happiness, right? It's interesting. So another question that you could even ask is, what kind of partner would make you feel supported? What do you want your future to look like? Because these questions open up conversation instead of creating pressure. And a lot of us have seen how marriages have gone with the generations before us. And some of us have decided we don't want that for ourselves. If this is what love looks like, we don't want it. Let's be honest. We've seen the disrespect. We've seen the emotional neglect. We've seen a lot of these things. And so when you're asking your children these questions of where's your husband, and you're not approaching them from a place of curiosity and instead saying, what do you want your future to look like? We still have some of these things in the back of our mind that some of us are still healing from. And so if you are the child and you're listening, sometimes it helps to explain your timeline, or what your dreams and your hopes are, right? You're not doing this defensively. You're not, doing this in an intense way. You're just being honest. You can say, I want partnership too, right? I'm just trying to build it in a healthy way, right? Because at the end of the day, both generations want the same thing. We want love, we want stability, and a life that feels meaningful. We're just approaching it very, very differently. And also, there's a lot more opportunities and different risks that people are okay with taking these days that maybe in the past we weren't okay with taking. Let's just be honest about it. I will never forget being a teen and watching a TV show, or maybe it was a movie. There was a time in Ghana where we had these really amazing movies with crazy, wild storylines. I remember one of them was a stab in the back or a stab in the dark. We could never get the title right. So if you're listening and you know the title, please, please, please let me know. And there were a number of other movies, but we were seeing a lot of marriage in different lights and seeing how relationships were. And I remember as young as I was like, if this is what marriage is, I don't want it. And I remember I just kind of blurted it out. My inside voice won that day. And I said, I don't think I want to get married. When I tell you my mom almost lost her mind because she had this dream for me and she had this idea of what life needed to look like for me, and the stability and the love and all of the things. And I remember just saying, yeah, I don't want this. And looking back at that moment, I think maybe what I could have said, not that I would have known this as a teenager, but what I could have said was, this looks kind of scary. Is this how it really is? And asking those questions of my mother. Um, but also, I know that we're from a culture where we can't ask some of these questions. We're not allowed to ask some of these questions because you are being too grown, or as we say in my language, we impinism. And this is adult talk. This is an invitation for us to start having these conversations early with each other, sooner rather than later. And also what we think about when it comes to love, companionship, and all those things. Not all of us are going to be very traditional. Not all of us are going to want marriage to look the way that we think it needs to look. Or some of us just might not even want marriage at all, right? All right, everyone. Today's episode is special because I brought in someone who has been asking, all the questions. Where's your husband? Where's your husband? Before, this podcast even existed, right? She's the woman who raised me. She prayed for me. She fed me. Sometimes, question my life choices here and there. Not a whole lot, but, every now and then, because, I'm not perfect, but I try to be. We can talk about that later in therapy. But anyway, so please welcome my mom, the original CEO of my childhood, Mama Ceci. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for my title.
Yes, original CEO. Yeah. So what I'm curious about is when you were my age, right, in your 30s and all that. What did marriage represent for you? Was it about love? Was it about stability? Was it about family expectations, or maybe even something else?
Thank you. Um, when I was about your age, um, I thought or I think marriage was beautiful
Mm,
and it's happiness
yeah.
and marriage is for two people coming from a man and a woman coming from different homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to come together. As the Bible says, a man will leave his family
Mm-hmm.
to join or cleave to a woman.
Yeah.
and they become one flesh and they stay together.
Right.
So I felt marriage was okay because one, I stayed with my siblings, my sisters,
Yes. Yes.
and they were all married. I saw some, the way their husbands were treating them.
Yeah.
Yeah, treating them. And it was so beautiful, so nice. And they were caring for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I felt that marriage is good. If you marry, you get a good partner.
Mm-hmm.
It will be sweet and it will be nice.
Yeah.
A good man or a good woman who will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you will forget some of your problems when you were single.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to build a family, a home, and you bring 4 children, and both of you take care of the children. You raise them up
Mm-hmm.
in God fearing, and you help them to decide
Mm-hmm.
what to do. So I was uh, I was happy. I was happy when I hear married.
Yeah.
It brings happiness and good name to the family.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
family you are coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like your idea of marriage when you were about my age
Mm.
was based on the experiences that you had with watching your sisters
Yes.
in their marriages, but
Mm-hmm.
also keeping in mind that this is something that would also bring some prestige to your family
Yeah.
also, right?
Yeah.
Because in our culture, marriage is very important.
Very. If you don't marry, people will be talking, asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
worrying your mother or your
Mm-hmm.
parents. Why
Mm-hmm.
is it not your daughter
Mm-hmm.
getting married, or maybe she has a problem?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every parents, especially mothers, they are worried about their children,
Right.
especially daughters,
Right.
that they get married and get a good marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me to the
So
question of why or what is underneath when parents are asking their daughters, for example, where's your husband? Won't you get married? Are you dating somebody? Blah blah blah. That sort of thing. What is really underneath that question? What I'm hearing you say is that there's worry.
yes, we have to be worried because maybe the mother, myself, all my friends' daughters were getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've been attending to helping them.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be worried and thinking about why my daughter, what's wrong with her?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she doesn't want to marry like some people, other countries, the ladies don't want to marry, but
Right.
be taking boyfriend up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just to prove to people that my daughter too has married, she doesn't have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And in the family, to maybe all the ladies in the family are married,
Right.
and my daughter hasn't married, I'll be worried.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure there.
pressure.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of pressure there.
yeah,
And I mean, also, having boyfriends, there's nothing wrong with it because, you have to graduate. You are friends and then, you go to boyfriend and then you go to, there's levels
yeah,
to it. And
yeah.
sometimes
I
not
know.
everybody is going to graduate from boyfriend to husband.
Straight.
Yeah, because it's just not feasible. But I see what you're saying that,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's a concern. And I know that one of the conversations that we've had is that there's also the who is going to take care of you when
Yeah.
I'm not here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. And at least if you marry
Mm-hmm.
and I fall sick
Yeah.
or fell sick,
Mm-hmm.
you will come home with your husband
Yeah.
to come and visit me or
Right.
take me to the hospital
Mm-hmm.
or take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. To have the
see,
family.
to see
Yeah.
your daughter married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if, when you think about me, for example, what are you hoping for my future when it comes to relationships and marriage?
Um, that's a good question. I hope and I pray every day for you, my daughter, that you get a better marriage
Mm-hmm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
You get somebody who cares
Mm-hmm.
for you, who will be there with you 24 hours.
Okay, 24 hours is a little much, right? Sometimes I want my space. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we want our space, right? No, but I see what you're saying,
Yeah,
though.
I know, but
Yeah,
if
yeah,
the
yeah.
person is a loving man, you
Mm-hmm.
don't mind.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't mind
yeah,
being with you always,
yeah.
helping you,
Yes.
especially your work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
helping you
Right.
and to support you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you because there are some men, they won't appreciate what you are doing. Competition. Yeah,
Yeah.
competition in it. So
I can understand
I
that.
pray, yeah, I pray that
Mm-hmm.
you get a good relationship,
Mm-hmm.
a better one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
So you'll
mean,
be happy
yes.
every day.
That is true. And so, yeah, I I see what you're saying. I do. I do.
Yeah.
And also, like, she said she's praying every day. Like, every day, every day. Okay, all right. The pressure is pressuring.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, Mom, if you could say one thing to immigrant parents who are trying to understand their children, and when it comes to marriage and relationships, what would you tell them?
Oh, I will tell them to have patience.
Very important.
Patience for their daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Always pray with them. Ask them what they are planning to
Mm-hmm.
do,
Mm-hmm.
who is in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you shouldn't put pressure
Yeah.
on your daughter
Right.
because maybe she has gone through something and she has made her mind not to go again.
Right.
Yes,
That's
so
trauma.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
she is just relaxing.
Yeah.
And parents, especially mothers, we shouldn't put pressure
Mm-hmm.
on our daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
marry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because marriage is for a long term
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just go today, then tomorrow you decide
Right.
I won't go again.
Right.
Yeah, she has to take her time, watch the person, know him well.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I am in full agreement with you.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
know him well. Yeah, before she takes any decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. I agree. I
that's what
agree.
I want to tell them.
Okay. Well, y'all heard her. That's what she
Mm-hmm.
said. She said to be patient
Mm-hmm.
and understanding.
Yeah,
And also just recognize that marriage is not going to be a priority for everybody. And can I say that's okay?
yeah,
that was
somehow.
that was a little hesitant.
Yeah,
Okay.
somehow.
All right. You know what?
Somehow.
Okay. We can maybe agree to disagree on that one. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the next time an immigrant parent asks, where's your husband? Remember that behind the question is often concern, hope, a lifetime of cultural expectations. And one thing that I want parents to also understand is that you all are the blueprint of marriage for the generations after. So whatever it is that you're showing or you're putting off, whatever you're talking about, the statements that you're making about love, about companionship, about marriage, that's what your children and the younger generation around you, that's what they're going to be picking up. That is what the message is going to be about marriage. So if you're going to continue talking about how hard marriage is and you're not actually showing what love and what a beautiful and a healthy marriage could look like, this is a seed you're planting in your children. Let's be honest, right? So if you're a parent and you're listening or you're watching, remember that your child is not necessarily rejecting marriage. They're trying to build relationships that are healthy, relationships that are safe, relationships within which they feel chosen, they feel supported, especially in this day and age when we're taking on different levels of responsibility. We're taking on a lot more risks. And I'm talking about people like myself who are professional women, we're the CEOs, we're the breadwinners, we're all of the things, right? We have to understand as parents that the way that we are defining relationships and the needs that we had in relationships before are not the same needs as today. Yesterday's price is not today's price. You know what I'm saying? And our children are learning. We're seeing what we want. We're seeing what healthy relationships and healthy marriages look like. And it's going to take time. So if your 35-year-old child, daughter, son, whoever is not married, there's a reason for it. You have to start asking yourself the difficult questions of what have I taught my children about marriage? What have I talked to them about when it comes to marriage? And that takes time. So I'm Dr. Phebe Brako, and this is Between Two Worlds with Dr. Phebe, where we unpack culture, family expectations, and love one complicated conversation at a time. So thank you for watching or listening, and I will catch you next time.